Often, our anger and resentment don't stay in the past. They get stored in our mind and bodies and become our shield. And unfortunately, after years of protecting ourselves, we can forget who we were before we needed all that protection. We forget what it used to feel like to simply be ourselves, the open-hearted, excited, authentic person we were created to be by God. The version of us who didn't struggle so much to trust others, who didn't feel the need to control everything because fear wasn't running the show. Remember this version of you who didn't overthink everything? The version before we started feeling that we were not good enough, so we learned to people please, prove our self-worth, and look outside ourselves for validations. The version of us before we put up walls because we were afraid of what might happen if someone got too close. And I get that these patterns didn't come from nowhere. At some point, they protected us. But there comes a moment to ask ourselves, is this protection still protecting me, or is it keeping me from being the authentic person God created me to be? And for me, I don't want to spend my life wearing masks anymore. The mask that created by my old pain, hurt. I want to come home to myself, to the person God created me to be, with an open heart, my own gifts, and something meaningful to contribute to the world. And I'm not just talking about this. I do this work too, imperfectly. I can feel the difference in my own life when I'm motivated by truth, love, and joy instead of fear, trying to prove my self-worth because I'm still hurting. So maybe the question is not, why am I like this? Maybe the question is, am I ready to stop letting my past decide for me who I need to be today? That's what we are going to talk about in episode 120 of The Baggage Began Healing Hearts and Minds. How to recognize these patterns and begin finding your way back to yourself. Let me tell you a story that happened a while ago. I was looking through old pictures of my daughters. I have two daughters, they're in their 20s. So I'm looking at their pictures in the photo albums when they were little, and I noticed something that honestly hurt me just to watch. There were pictures where they were these beautiful, happy little girls, and I was right there with them, but I could see in my face, in my eyes, how much pain I was carrying. In some of the pictures, I wasn't even smiling. I look like I'm so sad. And I remember looking at those pictures and thinking, Tammy, where were you? Why are you so sad? Those were supposed to be happiest times. I believe physically I was there. I was their mother, right? I loved them more than anything. But emotionally, there were times when part of me was somewhere else. And that's why I could see so much hurt in my eyes. I was still probably angry about things that had happened in my childhood. I was still hurt. I was still trying to prove my self-worth. I cared too much about what people thought of me. I was trying to control, people please, because control made me feel safer. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I didn't understand then how much energy all of that was taking from the life that was actually happening right now in front of me. And I spent so many years wishing my past was different, not understanding that everything is okay with me just the way it is. These experiences are helping us to grow, but I wasn't ready. And when you're ready, the teacher arrives. So if you're here, thank you for being here. I'm grateful to you. There is something for all of us to learn from these experiences. For me, watching this photo album, that was hard for me to see. And I'm not sharing this because I want to beat myself up for the past or I want to shame myself. I don't. I did my best. I know that. I did the best I could with the awareness and the tools I had at the time. I had them when I was in my late 20s. I didn't know any better. I'm sharing it because it made me understand something about anger and resentment that I had not understood before. And I'm visual. Maybe I needed the photo album to show me that. But for you, maybe just listening to that will help you, guide you to see how you can take all these masks, all these personas, all these emotions that are no longer serving you. And instead of being afraid of living life fully, and living like you are dead today, actually take some steps that can guide you to move forward, living the joyous, happy life that God intended you to live by removing all these layers of baggage so you can actually feel free. Sometimes what happened to us ends, but the way we learned to live because of what happened in the past doesn't end with that. And that's unfortunate. That's the baggage we're carrying after years that we went through situations and we didn't know how to deal with them and we didn't grieve them. The little child in us never grieved it, and now we're living it as if it's happening today. That to me is where the real cost begins. That we are still having inner child that did not have time to grieve the past, and we are living our lives not fully, wearing masks because we're afraid to be who we are. So for me, I believe that no matter what's happened earlier, there is a way to make peace with that and choose differently today and understand that you don't really need to understand why it's happened. And it doesn't matter why it's happened. Sometimes it's just part of our soul journey. Yet you can do differently. Or maybe like me, you became very good at doing, achieving, helping, proving yourself forward, taking care of everybody, and keeping everything moving. From the outside, everything looked okay, but from inside, you paid a price. For me, vulnerability is strength, not pretending, not acting, not choosing with fear, choosing love. Because some of the fear can be covered with makeup like I did. That's what I want to talk about today. Not another conversation about how we should forgive everyone, think positively, and just let go. If it was so simple, I will do that. And that's what I want to talk about today. Welcome to Baggage Begun Healing Hearts and Minds podcast. I'm Tammy Machmali, and I'm really happy that you're here. I'm grateful to you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying until the end. I want to explore today the question, what is actually me and what did I learn to become because I was hurt and I'm still angry and resentful? I'm going to repeat the question. What is actually me and what did I learn to become because I was hurt and I'm still angry and resentful? Basically, who are you? Are you a fake person, or you are truly an authentic human being that's sharing your gift and contribution and you feel joy? And more importantly, if you don't need all of that protection anymore, how do you start living differently from an authentic, true place without the masks? When protection becomes our identity. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say somebody betrayed you in a relationship. Of course, you become more careful afterwards, right? That's what I did. That's being human. Something happened and you learn from it, right? But now, if it's, let's say, 5-10 years later and you're with somebody completely different and they have not answered your text for, let's say, 20 minutes, and you look for your phone and there is nothing, what are you thinking? Are you thinking, oh, it's okay, they just didn't see it. It's okay, they're busy, they're at work? Or are you thinking, why aren't they answering? Something is off. Are they going to leave me? Are they losing interest? Maybe you check when they were last online. Maybe you reread the last text to make sure you didn't send it by mistake. Maybe you're already preparing for something emotional. And here's what I find interesting. The person who betrayed you many years ago didn't even remember you anymore sometimes. But the protection, the limiting beliefs you developed because of them are still there. And I want you to notice that if you cannot be who you are fully and you're wearing masks because what's happened to you in the past, I encourage you to try to look at that differently. Maybe you need to do the work with therapists. Maybe you need to dive deeper and find the root cause of the things that are no longer working for you, but they're coping mechanism and they're not really protecting you. They're just keeping you afraid of life, like a shell of yourself, like a shadow. Then try to tap into hypnosis and energy work. And for me, they were lifesavers. They removed so many layers that I was carrying, wearing so many masks, so I can actually be me with being authentic, not being fake, not wearing personas, not trying to people please and make myself nice to be loved. Because the same thing that happened with perfectionism, being perfect, because we grew up, we got judged and criticized and we were embarrassed. So now we're trying to do everything right. That's not helping you. Perfectionism sometimes is just a crutch. It's just something that become a way to not be present and be authentic. Because who can be perfect? God did not created us perfect, because perfect is boring. The way you are is just perfection in the eyes of God. So if you can live life being what you need to be for you, and do what you do as your gifts and contribution and make this world a better place, are living life fully and you are in your purpose. And everything is okay with you no matter what, because everything that happened is a lesson that's trying to teach us something. But if you have limiting beliefs and you're living life, you can enjoy that because you're always thinking that something is wrong. So the question is that if you're not living life the way you want to live, it means that oftentimes when you make your decisions, you make them out of fear, because fear it's something that we do to people please, and oftentimes it's going to bring negative consequences, because when we do things using our protection mechanism, let's say someone asks me to do something and I'm thinking, oh, are they going to like me? I need to prove my self-worth. I need to save them. I'm doing it to people please. Then the outcome is going to be negative and you're not going to enjoy that and they're not going to enjoy it. The difference is that if you check with your body, check with your heart, and you feel like when they ask you to do something for them and you feel expansion, you're listening to your heart, you're not using your old protection mechanism, and now you're taking the action, you're doing it from love, you're doing it because your intention is pure to be a bigger contribution, to do something without anything in return, then go do the action, because then you're doing something pure for you and them, and not from your anger and the old limiting beliefs. And I want to say something important here. I don't think every behavior needs a childhood explanation. Sometimes we can be angry just because somebody is behaving badly, and that's a healthy anger. Sometimes you don't trust somebody because they have shown you they are not trustworthy, and that's okay. Sometimes you need a boundary because as human beings, we need to set appropriate boundary to feel good about ourselves, and that all signs of self-esteem, those are healthy things that we do as human. We don't need to turn every uncomfortable feeling into trauma, right? I'm asking you to check if something from your past that you didn't deal with is still controlling your life. That's a difference, okay? The question is whether my response today belongs to what is actually happening today, or whether today's situation is touching something much older from the past, and that's the baggage. That's something I ask myself too. How much of this reaction I had, triggers, belong to today? And then you can decide what to do. The awareness is important. Sometimes whatever happening is just the way it is. But then you have to ask, if I'm honest, if it was something that happened in the past, then you need to dive deeper and check to see if you dealt with the old anger or not, if you grieved that or not. And then you can ask for professional help. Now, what's driving my choices, love or fear? This is probably one of the most practical things I can give you from my own life, and take it with you. If you don't hear anything else today, remember that. Before I make a certain decision, especially when I'm emotional, I try to ask myself, Tammy, what is your motivation right now? Is this coming from love, meaning you want to do it, or this fear, negative? And I don't mean that in some beautiful spiritual way where love means saying yes to everybody and walking around smiling. I'm talking about authentic to myself, because sometimes being authentic means saying no, leaving when you need to leave, putting boundaries, standing up for what you want and disappointing someone else. Sometimes being authentic means that you tell your truth when before it was easy to people please. And for me, that's what I used to do, people please. And now I need to be uncomfortable and sometimes just be me, the real me, that it's brutal and honest with compassion and love. And that's applied to your text, that's applied to everything. Before you sending messages, texts, to make sure you're genuinely communicating and not from wanting to reassure other people that they love you. Before you say yes, check if you want to say yes. Before you staying longer at work, make sure that you want to stay longer. If you need to people please, please think before you do that, because that's not being authentic. And I want you just practice. Just practice until you make it like second nature. And for me, I'm doing the same thing right now with you. It's a month before Rosh Hashanah, and I'm doing the same thing. Clearing whatever is no longer serving me. If it's things, if it's people, if it's whatever it is. For me right now, I'm putting a lot of boundaries, because boundary is not a wall. And this is where I want to make an important distinction, because sometimes people hear, open your heart, and they think it means becoming naive again and just letting everyone do whatever they want. There's a difference between a boundary and a wall. A boundary says, I see what is happening, I know what is acceptable to me, and I trust myself to respond. A wall says, I'm going to make sure nobody ever gets close enough to make me feel that way again. So I want you to remember to be wise. We need boundaries you apply with an open heart and love, the better you're going to feel, because you are not building prison. You are building the life that you build with love and no more fear. Fear is not putting boundaries. Love is when you apply boundaries and you become very congruent and honest. Because what I wish I had understood earlier, when I look at those photographs of my daughters that I told you about, I can't go back and become a different mother, right? I can't take the moments again. I can't be happy where I wasn't happy, because that's fake, right? But I can be a good mom today. And I don't want to punish myself for what happened before. That would just be more baggage, right? But I can let those pictures teach me something. There was a message there. I can be here and now. I can open my heart. I can be the gift that God made me be. I can tell myself that I'm okay just the way I am, because if I knew better, I will do that. I can be compassionate. I can learn the lesson. I can notice when I'm physically with someone I love, but mentally somewhere else, proving, worrying, controlling, or trying to get somebody who is not even in the room to finally understand me, right? And I can come back and do it better and better and better each time. I want to leave you with a question today. How much of the way you're living right now is really you, the authentic you, with your gifts, with your contributions? And how much of it is protection you no longer need? Look at this question and question yourself. Our biggest fear is to live life fully. I want to encourage you to live like you're alive, fully, with happy, open heart. For me, this is spiritual too. I believe God gave each of us our own personality, our own gifts, our beautiful heart, and something meaningful to give to the world. And maybe part of our work here is not to become someone perfect, that it's healed and goes to all the gurus. Maybe it's simply to remove all the masks, remove all the fears, proving ourselves, the resentment and protection, that not letting us come out and show who we are truly. And if you want help doing that deep work, that's exactly why I created the Baggage Begun Healing Hearts and Minds. And lately I also came out with the Baggage Begun Forgiveness Journey app to forgive. You can check out my website. It's tammymachmali.com and check it out. The app basically is a step-by-step process that guides you to look at what happened, what you're starting, what you started believing because of it, and what you may still carrying today, without asking you to pretend that it didn't happen, and then you can go and let go and forgive in your own time. You will find the link in the show notes. And if you thought of somebody while you were listening today, send them this episode. Not because they need fixing, but because maybe there is one question here that they need to hear, or a message that they need to hear. Again, before we end, if it was helpful, please comment, like, subscribe. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm Tammy Machmali, and this is Baggage Begun Healing Hearts and Mind podcast. Thank you again for being here. And until next time, maybe don't ask yourself, how do I become a better version of myself? Instead, ask, what masks I can put down so I can be more myself. The full guided process that can guide you, your mind, body, and learn to finally feel safe and let go. The Baggage Begun Forgiveness Journey is ready for you. The link for the app is in the description below. Please take care of yourself, and I will see you next week.